Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I am your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-hosts, my partners in crime, Nate Green and John Craine. Nate, let's just give like a forewarning here first before you get like a negative review. Nate doesn't have he's on vacation kind of right now, work trip. So
I'm on a work trip.
yeah, so you'll hear like he's
in a hotel.
spotty.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
Before you get a negative review again, say that now. Nate, I'm not going to start with you. John, how you doing? It's been a minute.
And don't forget, he's been stair climbing before this. He was working out.
He got his workout in trying to get here on time. So
yeah, absolutely.
John, how you doing?
I'm I don't know, pessimistic, optimistic. I don't know what I am. I guess I will have some 66ers games to count on. And so I still haven't pulled. Now I guess I'm going to pull the trigger on the season, on the bobblehead package again this year. Dude. I just haven't done it yet. So and that's not affected. So I'm in, but otherwise I'm doing well.
Well, hey, I think there's going to be. I think we're striking a deal today. If you guys are listening to this on Monday, we record on Sunday, but I think there's going to get a deal done. I really do. I'm optimistic about this one. So before we even get into that conversation, we will talk about CBA and such like that. Nate, how you doing? Like I said, don't give Nate a negative review just because he's on his iPhone today or whatever it is.
No. I just have no mic, but yeah. It's good. It's good to be here. I love it, even though we're on a work trip in San Antonio in a hotel room. But it's good. I love that we get to talk baseball every day. So it's going to be every day you can talk baseball is a good day. So
absolutely. Another big week for us here as the takeover continues here at Talking Halos. We've got two big interviews coming up. I'm excited. This one on Wednesday is a lot of fun. I'll tell you that. Been talking to Nate and John about it a little bit beforehand, but absolutely had a blast talking to both these guys. Actually, both of them are fantastic. So guys, stay tuned for that. And like you guys know, I haven't done this in a minute, but let's start this show off with a question of the day. We may have asked this before. I don't think so though. John, I'll start with you. Walk up / walkout song. What is it? What do you got? What are you walking out to? If you were a pitcher or coming up
for me,
yeah. What's your walk up song?
I really, Mike Trout just got too cool for me because I really loved it when he played Thunder. That was like, and then he changed it. I'm like, oh, come on. And then I guess the greatest reliever song I've ever heard was in Major League with Wild Thing. And the way, if I was to throw pitches, you would certainly call me Wild Thing. Most of them would bounce on the ground. But is there anything more clutch than Charlie Sheen coming out of the bullpen?
Absolutely not. That's a fantastic part of that's a fantastic, yeah, especially when he gets it back. I think it is in Major League 2 when he gets it back and he's like, oh, he's coming in. He just walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And those are fantastic. I'll say this from a player's perspective. I could not pull off Wild Thing. I would, it would not have worked. A, skinny 6 foot scrawny little white boy would not have thrown about 82 to 84 miles an hour. It would not have played. I needed to kick up about, 10, 15 miles an hour to play Wild Thing and throw behind some people's heads. But yeah, Nate, what do you got? I know you played college ball. What'd you walk out to? Did you get something?
Yeah, I had a couple different ones. So I obviously went the country route and had a couple different country songs. 8 Second Ride was one of them. She's Country was another one. Yeah, I mean,
that was mine. That was mine. So that was mine.
You keep it nice and easy. Play some country music. It's nice. I think this song title is "Loud and Heavy" by Cody Jinks. That's a really good one too. And then my junior year, as you can see, I got the cross in my hat right now. A lot of us were Christians on the team, and we decided that we were going to go Christian walkout song. And so a guy from our church actually created a song just for me to walk out to, and it was pretty nice. So I thought that one was pretty sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really, those are good. I used
that was a big time one.
The Cody Jinks one's a little too big time for me. I'll tell you that much. Again, don't throw hard enough to use that one. I did use 8 Second Ride because I do like that song. But I did my senior year. I kind of went a little fun with it. And I went Big Dog Daddy by Toby Keith. If anybody hasn't heard that song before, go ahead and listen to that. Fantastic walk-up song. Yeah, that was mine. I also did. Is it Little Nas? I'm gonna take the horse to the old town.
The cowboy song. Yeah,
I don't know. I forgot what it was.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I used that one as well my senior year. So, anything country for me, I'll tell you that much. I can pull off the rock. As much as I want to do like Inner Sandman or something, I can't pull that off.
My country music knowledge is limited, but that being said, so I guess more big. I mean, you definitely know some Toby Keith. This Saturday, I'll be at the Garth Brooks concert in San Diego, though. So for the second time, he's amazing.
Nice.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Pardon?
That sounds like a good one for sure.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much here for listening. For listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos, making us the best Angels podcast out there. I truly do believe it. I really do think we are. The takeover has begun. Stay tuned for all the interviews that we have coming up in these next couple of weeks, whether we have baseball or not. Guys, just keep listening. Like I said, interviews will be rolling in here over the next couple of weeks or so. Again, if you could subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening to us or watching us, if you're watching us on YouTube, pound that subscribe button. We're almost at 50 subscribers, which is pretty cool. I didn't think that was going to actually happen. I really didn't. Like, it's pretty cool to see, you know, like I know 50 is like, oh, whatever, Jared, you're doing great. But like, that's pretty cool to see that organically grown like that. Marketing Jared talking, by the way. And again, you can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Timms. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34 and John at Jegs Craine. John's been doing a fantastic job on the Twitter as well, by the way, guys. So go follow him. You can go complain with Nate as well. So
retweeting Jared, basically retweeting Jared. That's why he's saying I'm doing a fantastic job, because I'm retweeting Jared. Keep it up.
Hey, I mean, not a bad thing to go retweet me.
I'm just kidding.
No. So let's get on to a little bit of baseball talk. Let's get into college baseball talk. John, I know you don't watch college. You might not watch college. Are you watching the college baseball?
Talk to me in a year, and I'll have a knowledge about Clemson.
Fantastic.
I'll be going to Clemson.
I watched Clemson today. I got a nice report down for one of their starters, so I really like him. I don't know if Perry likes him, but I really like one of the kids from Clemson. So besides the point, Nate and I have kind of been talking about this on the side. Vandy and a couple other schools are actually using watches to get their signs in. And also, not only watches, I was watching Samford, I think, play today, and they were using a microphone. The catcher had an earpiece in.
Yeah, that's allowed too. I think that's probably better.
So, yeah, no, I'm all for that, except for there was a technical difficulty. The microphone dropped or something like that. So I was like, what? Like, I would have never known they had a microphone on. But that was pretty sweet. But Apple Watches, something like that. They're wearing a big, thick watch that's giving them the signs. John, I want your take on this first. Do you like the way that signs are given? It's kind of – in college baseball, it's so that signs aren't stolen. But I think at the major league level, they're going to try to start speeding up the game a little bit, and it could be something that they go to down the road to try to speed up the game a little bit instead of giving all these signs going on here. The little Mike Socha that I'm giving here, by the way. How do you like the sign giving, John? I don't know.
Did you share that link?
I did. I think I retweeted something. They were wearing. It was a big, thick black watch.
Yeah. That's what I saw. That's how I know about you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, of course, I think in that article they even mentioned though that like then maybe they're going to hack it digitally or something. But I mean, anything to, you know, to avoid another Houston Astros catastrophe. I mean, signs aren't meant to be stolen. So if you can do it, you know, but then bad calls aren't meant to be made, but they continue to still be made too. So
I'm with you. I don't think anything's ever going to be perfect. And by the way, signs are always meant to be stolen.
Oh, okay.
I always stole signs in college.
Yes. Oh, but see, that's the thing. That's the thing about the whole scandal is, I mean, I understand it's because they did it with cameras, but I mean, it's totally legal to steal a sign if you're standing on second base and you can see it. There's some way you can communicate it legally to, but are these watches going to allow them to do, but they can't wear them on the base. They can't wear them on the base paths, right?
Yeah, no, they're not going to do it. They're still going to give these signs, like the signs out at third base, and such like that. It's just for the pitcher catcher that they were giving the signs out. So they look down and see like fastball away, or I don't know exactly.
Oh, okay.
Or could have given them a chart or some numbers or something like that too.
From what I understand is like it's the pitch, the location, and like in or out of the zone. So they get like three numbers, and everyone on the diamond gets it. So the catcher has it, the pitcher has it, and every single position player has it because They want to make sure the position players know, like, oh, if we're going in with a fastball, we're going to shade the guy to pull side, or if we're going away with a changeup, we're going to, plan to hit the ball the other way, or whatever, however they have game planned for their opponent. So that's kind of the idea behind it, to make sure everyone has it. But the other team has no, they can't see it, they don't understand it. So like, it's not like you can wear yours and pick up Vanderbilt's sign system on, Clemson's watch.
That's also big, because you sometimes, like, you get this feeling like, and I know it happened a lot when I was coaching, like we'd call a pitch and it was like, what pitch are you throwing, so I can shade them a little bit more to one side or another side, you know? So like, if you're throwing a curveball, like you're getting 0-2 and it's like, oh, we're getting a curveball going, let's move our shortstop and second baseman a little more, like give me 2 steps to the left, and that could kind of give away things as well. I think so. That's pretty cool that can kind of, you would never know.
Just by, if the guys are moving early enough, though, it's still going to give things away. So they got to be really sly with the way that they're moving.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I mean, I haven't watched too many Vanderbilt games like fully. I've seen a couple here and there. Like I watched a little bit of it, but like I can only imagine shaking that off, and then the pitching coach going, "Oh crap, we got to give a different sign." And it's like, there's a 30-second pitch clock in college baseball. There is. If you do not make a pitch within 30 seconds, or you do not make a pickoff attempt within 30 seconds, you get a warning, and then you get ball 1. So, or ball whatever the count is. So it does make a difference, and that does make for a bit of a time delay, I think. And honestly, Jared and I were talking about this earlier, about like how long the game, it's supposed to shorten the game. That's all Ron Manfred wants. Shorten the game. And what do you know? Vanderbilt's still playing 3-hour, 15-minute games. So it's not really helping.
Not at all. So I just want to get everybody's feel on that. We haven't really talked about that. Kind of cool thing I thought that we saw in the Vandy game and a lot of other teams using, and kind of wanted to get John's opinion on it too. So it seems like everybody's kind of for it, and everybody's kind of for stealing signs as well. So guys, let's get on to our next topic here, and big news, CBA news. It's been a long week. We're going to try our best to recap this week in a sense, because a lot happened. If you asked me on Monday what I thought was going to happen, I'd say there's a 5% chance that a deal gets done anytime this week. And again, that's what happened. There hasn't been a deal done in that last week, 7 days. We'll be at meeting day number 8 in a row, I believe, on Monday. And it doesn't seem like a lot has gotten done. But it definitely feels like, if you asked me on Monday, today, whenever you're listening to this, what the chances are we have baseball, I'd say is a 40% chance. And I don't know what your guys' thought is on this. And Nate, I'll start with you. Do you have a certain percentage of chance that we see baseball come back this week?
I'm thinking it's 50-50. I really like the 40 number. I think that's a really good number. I know I've said
weird
March 20. I'm off a little bit. I think 50-50, but March 27th is the day I said, or March 26th. I know that's the day I said, but I did not expect these guys to actually physically meet 8 days in a row, especially watching the way things went from December all the way to February. Now it was like we'd be lucky if we met 8 times between December and February. So I think the more conversations that are being had, it brings more things to light. Like, it's easier to make counter proposals when you're seeing stuff every single day. When you make an offer and then they decline it, and you wait 2 weeks before you make another offer, it's like it just slows the entire process down. So I think going back and forth makes it a lot easier for these guys to make decisions and hopefully do what's best for the players and for the owners. I know that sounds like a very bad answer, but we want everyone to win in this. We just want baseball back. So there is no sides for me. It would be a shame to see the players get screwed again and lose pretty badly in this, but also I want to see baseball. So if the players have to get screwed for me to watch baseball in 4 weeks, then go owners. But if the owners end up giving a little bit and everyone wins, that's probably the best case scenario. But I think 50-50 is probably the number you're looking at.
John?
we talking about tomorrow?
This week.
Period?
I think that they're going to continue to meet every day until they figure something out. I don't think you can. I think that 8 straight days in a row, you got to try to figure something out now.
Well, there's like so many things I hear are sticking points. Like we were talking, obviously CBA, but then also the playoff format. I read something about a ghost win. I don't even have any idea what a ghost win is. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say a ghost win?
No.
Win?
No.
Yeah. Okay. It's I think I read it in the MLB rumors talking about the playoff expansion and there being a ghost win. I was hoping you guys would answer to that. Ghost win.
I would guess then if that's the case, if it's a ghost win, that it's a first round bye. That would be my guess.
Okay.
Is like the first.
That's a weird way of saying first round bye. First round bye is very prominent.
I don't know. I haven't heard that term yet, so that would be my guess. I could totally be wrong, but yeah. So
I don't know. I'm pessimistic, but would be thrilled. Would be thrilled. Again, this was going to be my last spring training where I lived within driving distance. So I had plans with some friends to go out to spring training, so I'm hoping. But
well, actually, there's still going to be spring training. You'll just get minor leaguers. There's still guys out there doing stuff.
You know me, I'm all about the pictures.
I know.
I have too many pictures with people I have no idea who they are just because they don't have their uniform, their numbers on their back.
Yeah. I'll say this, and I'll say this about it before we jump into all the last proposals that came in, because I think we're just going to kind of go over that. The players aren't going to win, and the players I think know this, and the owners have all the leverage in the world, and that's why there isn't baseball there. That's why there's not spring training right now, because the owners hold all the leverage. The players are going to get 20% of what they want. That's my belief on that. Like it's not going to get split 50-50. They're not going to meet in the middle at all. The owners are going to get 80% of what this agreement's going to be. Like the players are going to get a little bit of smidge, maybe 25%, but yeah, that's all I have to do. That's all I have to say about that. The owners hold it. The owners hold all the leverage right now. They're billionaires. They're not losing anything, to be honest. They own baseball teams for a reason. The players are losing on getting paid. So I think that at the end of the day, that's going to hurt the players more. If you're talking real time to me, like I'm all for. I want the players to win. I do. I want the players to be that to get what they want. And if they have to hold out, do it, But I think that them getting paid their, $500,000 up to, Trout's making $40 million next year. I think that's going to weigh heavily on the players instead of over the owners. So I think that again, I think the players are going to end up. Yes.
Man Clown says they don't own baseball teams to make money.
We've been over this.
So I'm sorry. It was just too easy.
I know. Again, I don't know. It's
again, the problem with somebody like me, and I understand a lot more now than you do, and I'm not saying that I'm pro owners, is that all we hear about is the Mike Trout all we hear about is these huge contracts that these players, that the upper echelon, the small upper echelon get. Sometimes they're not able to finish those contracts or not finish the season or not even, and that gets all the publicity. So I think that's a tough struggle for the players because they're more interested in taking care of the people on the lower end. And I don't think I don't know that Joe Fan knows that, because I wouldn't have known that if I didn't participate and listen to this podcast.
Yeah. It's all
John, did you hear about the Braves too? Because this does not get brought up ever. The Braves, how much they grossed in money last year is ridiculous. Like they made over $100 million. Like just from their season. And
after everybody's paid. After everybody's paid, yes, you're saying.
Yeah. Oh. It was the most money that they had ever made in their history. And it was like, so you guys are crying over paying an extra $100,000, and you just made how much money? So yes, I understand where it's coming from. I'm trying to find the exact number because I think it was a little bit more than 100 million.
See, The problem is I haven't heard that.
It was on MLB Trade Rumors a couple days ago.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm saying as an average fan, I haven't heard that. Most average fans haven't heard that, but they have heard that. That Manny Machado signed a huge contract with San Diego Padres and has been a stiff. Go ahead.
And I mean, so to John's point there, if you want to, like, what really hurts is like Albert Pujols not performing. Like, if you want to put like this CBA on stuff, look at the players that are getting paid a lot and not performing, because that ends up being, like, at the end of the day, what this is all about. Like, if Albert Pujols performs, we're not having these conversations like these guys are getting overpaid. These guys are getting overpaid. Like Manny Machado had a great season, so he didn't overperform. Like Bryce Harper, he's doing fine. Mike Trout, he's doing fine. Talk to us 6-7 years down the road. I want to know how Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, these guys. Even I'm trying to think of who else signed. Fernando Tatis signed a big deal. Corey Seager. Like, it ends up being at the end of the contract. Mookie. Yeah, it ends up being at the end of the contracts where it's like, these guys are not what they're not valued, what they're getting paid. So I mean, if you're going to put it on any players, it's got to be those guys who signed those big contracts, and you can't put it on the players. By the way, like, it's not their fault, 110%. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, at the end of the day, it's the performance of those guys who are getting paid those, tens of 20s of $30 million a year and aren't.
But you got to pay them sometime. Yeah. You got to pay them sometime. Yeah. Like, you're not paying them at all before they're, I mean, what? Mike Trout went 3 years before he actually made $1 million, and he had won one MVP, had been in the MVP finals, like top 3 the other year. So he's making $500,000 at that point. It's like, we really appreciate you. It's like, no, you don't. Like, give me something. Like, I'm 23, 24 years old. Like, or actually, I guess at that time he's 21, 22 years old. It's like, give him something so he can live his life and, like, not have to struggle. Because I mean, in the minor leagues, the guy's making, $12 a day, and it's like, come on. Like, these guys struggled for how long to make it? They make it, and it's like, hey, we go off, he hits 40 home runs, he does his job, and it's like, congrats, you made $500,000 this year.
Yep.
And I guess
that's what scares me about Trout, is because I saw all these people just talk about Albert like he's dead weight. He contributes nothing. And they were talking to, really degrading him. You see him on social media, I mean, and it's like, the guy does contribute. He just makes an obscene amount of money, but that's the contract the Angels signed for him. And I'm worried about the same thing happening to Mike Trout, in 7 years from now or 8 years from, if he's not performing the same way. And all of a sudden is this because Pujols is a pretty celebrated guy, got some rings, got some awards, and Angel fans, in general, were just, and I worry about Mike Trout. The same thing happening to Mike Trout. Everybody thinking, oh, that's great now, later. But
yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, you look at it, and it's the CBA before this. I think that was agreed to in '94, was it? Or 2006?
2012.
2012. Yeah. The CBA before this is what kills it for a lot of guys.
Tony Clark's first year was 2012, I believe.
Yeah, that CBA is the thing that kills it for everybody. Or the CBT, technically, the taxes and all that fun stuff is what gets everybody. So enough on our end with complaining. I'm just going to go through the gaps of what we're missing. These are the last two things that are the last proposals that have gone out there. We're just going to kind of, MLB Trade Rumors has done a fantastic job of pinpointing all these out. So let's see here. Minimum salary, the current gap is in between $135,000 in 2022 to $215,000 in 2026. That's going to be, that's going to be a tough thing to, get resolved there. I know MLB is down in the 600,000s to start with. 640,000 to be exact, and the MLB PA wants 775,000. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail with this, but that's a big point right there on that end, where the players and owners are missing out on the competitive tax balance. The current gap is in between, let's see, $31 million in 2022 and $51 million in 2026. That's the gap between what the players have proposed and what the owners have proposed. And it's, like I said, that's that's a large gap as well. We don't know what happened on Sunday yet. I don't think we're gonna know, and we probably won't know what happened on Monday either yet. But that was the last proposed deal. I think those two are the biggest things that need to get figured out for this. And I don't know.
I think there's one other one.
I know there's
I
one.
think there's one other one. The biggest one for me is the draft. Like, that needs to get figured out, because I'm sick and tired of watching teams tank. And I mean, the Astros were successful with it. There are a lot of teams that have been successful in tanking, and it just kills the competitiveness for teams. I mean, like, yes, the AL East is one of the best divisions in baseball, but they also get to play the Baltimore Orioles, who are not trying to win games, and they get to play them twice as much as anyone else. So how is that, you know, some of these other teams where it's like, oh, hey, the NL Central, you know, most teams are trying in that division, or, you know, the AL Central, most teams are trying in that division, but except for Detroit. But Detroit's actually there now. So that's kind of the thing that's frustrating, is that they allow tanking, and it's like, hey, can you put 10 teams in a lottery? And they're like, how about 4? It's like, well, 4 teams tank every year anyway, so that doesn't really help solve the problem, boys. So that's kind of the one sticking point to me that I think is a big deal. I know money's always going to be a big deal for these players, but like, for a fan, that's the biggest one that you want to see resolved.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm all for not tanking. I think that if more teams can, you know, try to win, and I thought the expanded playoffs was a good part of it as well. Another big part, I think, as well, for this whole bargaining that's going on, is the pre-arbitration bonus pool. The players proposed $20 million, or the players proposed $115 million on their last one, distributed out to 150 players, and MLB proposed a $20 million pool that gets pulled out to 30 players. And that goes by awards as well, which is pretty tough too. I'm not a huge fan of what MLB has proposed, though MLBPA is up there quite a bit with their offer too. I think that's one of the biggest roadblocks, is $95 million gap that they have right now. And I think that's another big talking point for us here as well, Nate. I don't know if you have
2 reasons for that, though, Jared. I think one of them is because the MLBPA wants to see more players get paid, so that's why the gap is so large. It's really not as large as you think, or as people would think based on what they're hearing. But because it's 130 players compared to 30 players, it's a big, big difference in who they're giving their money to. So that's kind of one of the issues there. And I think the other issue is the players are just so sick and tired of seeing these stupid fake offers that they're like, all right, you want to play games? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Here's our stupid prize. And that's kind of what I think is going on there.
Absolutely. And John, I don't want to leave you here in the dark, but you got anything to add on this side of things?
Nah, I'm learning from you guys. So.
Fantastic. So another thing, service time manipulation is big. We saw it with back when Chris Bryant was supposed to make his debut. Bryce Harper, another guy. Mike Trout was another guy. Anybody. I mean, Wander Franco last year was another guy, though he got paid this last offseason. Kalenic. I mean, there's been plenty of guys who get brought up 30 days into the season that lose out on that 1 year where they could get paid earlier. So I think that's, again, something that the players are going to probably have to compromise on a little bit. And John, I see you giving a funky face. You kind of understand what we're getting there on there.
Yeah, so that's so if they bring them up 30 days, that don't count as a full season. So they got to play a whole another season at the other end, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Chris Bryant was probably one of the biggest ones. He was very vocal about it when he was coming up. And I mean, granted, they won a World Series, and that is kind of it at the end of the day. And he's getting paid now, or he will be getting paid. He's a free agent this year, but he could have been a free agent last year and getting paid probably a lot more. Actually, he wouldn't have that. He didn't have that good of a year last year, huh? He came off this year.
Yeah.
Who knows what?
Coming off COVID, who knows too? So he might have actually got lucky.
Yeah, it could have benefited him, but still, regardless, I mean, I think that's something that
it's still not fair to him.
Yeah, and that's not something I don't think it's going to get that's going to get compromised all that much here. Unfortunately, they have anti-tanking measures on here. This is again going to the lottery system, and the Players Association does want quite a bit. They want a whole. I think it looks like 18 teams in here.
Basically every team that doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, which is cool, and you can make a TV. That's my thing. Like, I'd love to see an MLB draft lottery, like the NBA does it, like hockey does it. Like, I think
you could do
NFL, does NFL do it?
You could do it upright.
Yeah.
No, the NFL doesn't have a draft lottery, but I mean, you could do this upright and really. And I think one of the other things that you'll add here is based on losing multiple seasons in a row, your odds get worse. So like if you only lose 1 year, your odds are, let's say you have the worst record, your odds are like 30%. And if you get the worst record again, your odds go to like 20% or something. Like it's supposed to make sure that you are trying to get better every year.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yep.
So the Angels would be in trouble. The Angels would be in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, because they would be in the same draft slot every year. So like their odds of getting the number 1 pick would be probably the same and getting worse every year.
Yeah. And the Angels haven't done a great job of it either. Like you look at it and they're like 10th pick. Like they haven't gotten that good pick where it's like, this is a game-changing player right here that we can go get. I mean, there have been like Cleo Watson was that guy last year, but regardless of that, I mean, they went out and got Reed Detmers, but it's tough to get that game changer at the 10th overall pick. Like you can get lucky for sure, but it's not like you're getting an Adley Rushman
there's no Bryce Harper.
Exactly. You're not going to get that dude, Tremar
Bryce
Johnson,
Harper, Steven Strasburg,
Andrew Jones. I mean, yeah, there's again that. And then on to like some smaller things. We have the expanded playoffs. MLB has proposed 14 teams, the PA 12. I think that's easy. An international draft. MLB PA actually opposes that, which is pretty cool. I'm all for that if the PA wants that. Though I think that those are little things that can be bargained on for sure.
I think that's really just a sticking point so they get something else. Like they probably want it too, but they're like, hey, we're going to give you this, you better give us something else. So I don't think that's
I read that exact thing. And that was a couple of weeks ago saying that that's something that they're probably very flexible on, but it's a bargaining chip that they're holding on to that they'll throw in if they need to. But
absolutely. Yeah. And then the last thing, it's not a big thing. I think for me, it kills me more that this is even a thing, but the rule changes. MLB wants to implement, certain things. And this is a Manfred thing. And I don't want to say I hate him, but I don't like Manfred. Nate, I know you feel that way. I know a lot of people feel that way.
He's a clown.
Manfred sticking his paws on any MLB rules. He's already screwed it up enough. And the MLB PA wants to go year by year, where Manfred just wants to go in and do stuff how he'd like.
He wants to be able to change rules whenever he wants.
I don't want Manfred.
And they're supposed to wait a year.
Absolutely not. I don't need Manfred going in there and getting his sticky paws all over anything. Like that's the most annoying thing. I can't like he's one of the guys where, if he might be the most hated person in Major League Baseball. Like you can look at some of the Astros players, you can look at like some of the guys who talk a lot, Trevor Bauer, and like Manfred, I just can't stand him. Like there's a lot of stuff that he's messed up on.
True.
He did get booed at the World Series.
Absolutely should.
Yeah. Absolutely. Not as loud as Goodell. But I
think Goodell's are just now like fun now. Goodell's are just now like fun and like jokingly. I think everyone's serious with Manfred.
Goodell's been a fantastic, like you even look at the NBA, and the NBA has done decent things. Like I know they've had a lot of problems, but like the NBA has at least done decent things. Like Adam Silver has been okay, where like Manfred literally, like, show me one good thing he's done. Like there hasn't been a good thing. Like the expanded playoffs, like an extra wild card team, like that's fine. I'll give you that, like tip of the cap, but that was going to happen anyways. Like he hasn't made any game changing rules where it's like, oh, this has helped out the game a lot. Like he's gone in there and has not helped out the game at all. So that's our spew here on the CBA. So guys, any final thoughts here as we get rolling into a fantastic week, and hopefully we'll see some baseball back. You guys got any final thoughts, Nate, John?
No, I'm good.
I'll just say every game that we lose of Mike Trout in his prime is a shame. It's a real, and I'll throw that with Ohtani too. I mean, we're missing history every game we miss, and he's missed a lot because of this garbage. So,
and you can put it on Manfred too if you want to put on the 2020 season. You can put that on Manfred as well. Him missing.
Don't worry, we do
100 games. I mean, they probably weren't going to play 100 games in 2020 anyways. But regardless, like he probably missed a good, I don't know,
40 extra games. Yeah,
40 extra games, or who knows what the numbers he puts up, or another MVP season in 2020. I know we put the asterisk next to it, but you just never know. So I agree with you guys. I agree with that on that. I don't want to see Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout or Anthony Rendon, for a matter of fact, miss any more games than they have to with injuries and such like that. So That's fantastic, guys. Like I'm excited for this week. We have a lot of good guests coming on this show, especially Wednesday and Friday. Just a lot of fun having some conversations with some members of the Angels as well. It's going to be an absolute blast. So stay tuned for those, guys. If you could subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening or watching, you can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Timms. You can follow Nate at NateCrane34 and John at Jegs Crane John. You can follow all of our social medias, Talking Halos. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.